Are you there?
What's he wearing? He's wearing something in his ears.
Did you get it?
They haven't started yet.
Okay.
All right, why can't we hear?
Speaker turn on?
Todd,
Yes,
Now I can hear him. He was just
you
muted.
guys are muted right now until we start. That's all.
Gotcha.
That's why you can't hear. It's kind of chaotic in the room right now. You know how it goes. You all been there for coffee talk.
Wait, this week?
On that too, if you think that anybody's gonna type in, you can grab your split and make this one bigger for you if you want to, but.
Okay,
It's good on Zoom.
well, in the festive spirit of the holiday season, we will pause during this presentation to haze anybody after Larissa, because she just walked in. As long as they didn't give you death, you're fine to be at the liberty. Give me liberty, but not to death. Yeah. Yeah, we'll, those of you online, thank you for joining us. We've already agreed that if, since the spots were so valuable in here, that if anybody was late to the presentation, we will stop while they do perform 20 push-ups in front of us. I'll do my best to get the camera on that for you. There's one person, and I actually know who that person is.
we're the only ones with the picture.
So welcome everybody to Ireland 2026. Thank you. I feed off your energy, so without it, the presentation's over. That was it, Ireland 2026. Yay! I know I'm not as exciting as the firehouse was yesterday, and them actually getting called while we were in the middle of the tour, getting to see all that happen. That was really neat. Those of you that weren't there, let me know. We'll schedule another one because the firehouse was agreed. Those that went, pretty darn cool. Yeah, it was really cool. All right, but to not get sidetracked, as I do easily do, we are here for Verterra in Ireland 2026. Those that are not yet in the know, and as we continue to put you in the know, if you have not met or know Leslie, this is Leslie Westfall. Today, see how the energy is now? Today was officially Leslie's first day on site as the director of hospitality. If you don't know what that means, it means she's your club manager for the new clubhouse. Her fancy title, her fancy title is hard to interpret. So for layman's terms, so you understand what it means, she is the club manager overseeing the entire clubhouse now until it's built and beyond. We know each other quite well. I grew up with Leslie's brother and played sports for years with him, and we have realized that we're an awesome team. We have very similar visions, so we're really excited to continue what Verterra is already doing. She really wants to be a part of this and learn what's already been happening with the Ireland trip and where it's going, and just so she can wrap her head around it too and support the best way possible, or not, or be like, that's not happening. Won't be that.
I kind of, we will judge based on today's presentation, but also how many presents he brings home.
She can do our pre and post.
If the clubhouse is pushed out long enough, we might schmooze Leslie to go with us even. So. All right, online, if you cannot hear anything that comes from the audience, I'll try to repeat, but if I don't, just please ask me. If you have questions, remember to go ahead and turn your mute off and ask me that question, because I will not be, I've even shrunk the window so I can see my PowerPoint and everything. I will not be able to see the little hand you put up if you do that to ask a question. So just go ahead and shout it out and we'll answer. As we tend to do with a lot, if a question comes up and I plan on answering it down the road, I'll just ask you to hold it. If it's relevant to the moment, we'll do that, or near the end. Don't be offended if I ask you to just pause on that question. They are all relevant. We will answer them all, but maybe just at different times to the presentation, okay? So what we're gonna start with today is this working? There we go. Is the survey results. So big thank you for the survey response. Over 60 of Verterra residents responded to the survey. It was super exciting. It was such a good response. It freaked out the corporate office. Wait, how many people are you taking? What is that? I'm like, oh, well, I'm sure we'll whittle it down a little bit, but it was great to get that feedback and that impact. Know that this is the gateway for Verterra as a community to continue to do something like this. So your input, your feedback, how we execute this one moving forward will just dictate future opportunities that we can do this within our community. And it just makes it more personal. You all know each other. You do that. It's not that the 360s aren't amazing trips too, because they really are. For your opportunity to meet other people. I know your neighbors. Jim and Susie Fowler just did one of the 360 trips back in October. They loved meeting members from Lake Norman. David and Lori did one of the 360 trips to Alaska with the Trilogy of Tahali people, and they had a really good time on that as well. So those opportunities will still continue to come up, but this one we're gonna hold close to home based on the response of that. All right. Sure. So kind of going over what we were talking about and where we landed on responses on the survey. So one of them was like, when would you like to travel? And it was fairly even across the board of the fall and or spring travel time. Summer was actually the number one I don't want to travel time. So thank you. That really excited me. And then it was winter, but winter didn't curb most of you as much as summer did in the big tourist season and when everything gets a little out of control. So when we look at the fall and spring and where we're kind of taking this, if we were to look at a spring trip, it would need to be all the way to 2027. There's just not enough time to pull a trip off of this kind and this size by this spring. So if everybody online and here is in agreement, we're going to be discussing about doing this trip in the fall of 2026. Yeah, excellent. Trip length, it varied, but the top response was a full 2 weeks, and the number 2 response was 10 days. It'll probably fall in the 12 to 14 day range. And when I say 12 to 14 days, that's including the day we leave, the day we fly out, and the day we fly home. So when you look at that, when you take a trip like this over to Europe, and it's a 14-day trip, you're really 12 days on the ground of actually getting to do your trip. So if we do 12 days, it's only 10. If we do 10, it's only 8. And you can see why, as we cut off a couple of days, you will miss out. I mean, we miss a day just flying in. I leave this Friday and I land there Saturday. So just know with the time change and the length of the flight and everything, we'll lose a day. And then most of the flights that I've ever experienced out of Ireland are always morning flights to come back to the States. So then you're sacrificing that whole day. You don't even have, a morning or an afternoon to enjoy anything that day before you're usually at the airport pretty early to get out of there on those flights as well. Travel accommodations, B&B and hotels were at the 80+% range. Based on your input and the fervor we have and how many people are interested in this, B&Bs is not going to be an option. It's great, small groups, and I mean small groups. We're talking like 12 or less is your B&B kind of style trip. Most B&Bs range anywhere from 3 to 5 bedrooms in them. And so when you're looking at a size of us, which are going to take anywhere from 20 to 30 of you, bed and breakfasts aren't going to, and I'm not going to book like 6 bed and breakfasts and try to coordinate all that. So we will be looking at the hotels. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later in the presentation and what that kind of means with the hotel style booking. But that was still the top two. It was a landslide. Public transportation was something that everybody was pro for. What I mean by public transportation doesn't mean we're just like hopping on a bus constantly throughout the trip, but what if we took a portion of our trip where we took a train and we had a fun 2-3 hour train ride. We went from one destination to the other. I know in certain areas they have smaller, like what we would use, like the Sounder or the light rail. They have small fun trains. Like if you stay in the Cork area, you can take a train to it's a 15-minute train to get to Middleton, or another 15-minute train to get to Cove. So those are options too, where instead of us trying to figure out if we're going to pile in a big tour bus or something, where we can all just go to the train station and use that form. And it's much easier, not worried about parking that darn thing in and out time and all that. So being able to take public transportation is a huge win for us to be able to just open up our experiences. Dining expectations, it was mixed, meaning you guys said all of them. Which is great. So there was fine dining and there was pub dining and then there was local dining and ethnic dining. That was a mix. And then local was in second place for just pure votes on that. So awesome opportunities. Again, I'll probably say this 100 times, but I am leaving on Friday. And one of my things I'm most excited about is eating. It's been a funnel. If you've been to London in the last 10 years, they have absolutely up their game to the international food opportunities there. They are a mecca for food, and that's trickled up into Scotland, and now it's shooting over into Ireland, and they have so many more options and stuff. And what I like to say about eating ethnic food over in Europe is they're not scarred by US attitudes. So if they're going to make you a hometown dish from their province in China, you're going to actually get what that's like. It's not going to be like, well, we have to take that out because Americans don't like it. We have to take that out because Americans don't like it. We have to take that out. And then you're not eating it anymore, right? I find that when you get to eat cultural foods when you travel, they actually taste like cultural foods. Dining, and also Ireland has a very, very high bar for their food quality. So like even if you were to, not that you will, but if you were to eat at a McDonald's in Ireland, I only did it once because somebody told me, it is a completely different burger. It's an actual burger. It's real meat. It has to be 100% beef. And there's no fillers or anything in it. Their French fries taste different. So they have a much higher food standard. Now, part of it because they hold a high standard, and part of it was because even Ireland got in trouble a couple decades ago for pawning horse meat off as beef. So just know the facts, so you don't think I don't know those things. They also got a slap on the hand and now have higher food standards because of that, whatever they were choosing to do there. On that, walking distances, most everybody was for an active tour. And what this means is we're not strictly waking up in the morning and saying, here we go, we're going on a 5-mile excursion or a hike or anything. It means that we'll be out and about and be active with our feet more than we're trying to jump on a bus and just take pictures from a window and things like that. Let's go explore. Let's get out and walk through the towns and walk in places. So by the end of your day, you might look at your little step tracker there and go, wow, we did 5 miles today. As opposed to knowing I'm going to take you to some trail that go up a mountain where Terry will cuss at me the whole time. And then that's a guaranteed 5-mile thing. It's basically a sign to tell you how active the tour will be. Our experience will be that it will be a movement-based tour. So no, we're not leaning towards the 10-mile. We're going on the majority here with an expectation that you could be moving up to 5 miles every day. Not that you will be moving 5 miles every day, but you could be. And so know that if you choose to sign up for this, you are choosing to sign up for a trip that any single day you could be getting up and being very active for that day. We'll go into a little more details about it and about my vision and everything as we get going. So don't use that as an immediate reason to think, I'm not doing now. There'll be a couple options that might dissuade the other side of that. Booking airfare, almost everybody was very comfortable with booking their own airfare. When we do execute this trip, and I say when we do, because we will do this, I have found that all of you have a plethora of mileage on one company, or you don't like to fly a certain airline, or you only fly business class, or you never fly business class, whatever it is, I want you to have the freedom of traveling there on how you choose to travel there. If anybody needs help on tracking when flights are the best to book, or any other thing that would have to do with it, I'm happy to help with that. So you're not being ignored, but you will be responsible for booking your own ticket there. You will be giving a date and time of somewhere very close to the airport that you must be at. So that way you know when you're booking your flight to be in. I don't plan on being there early. I will most likely fly in on a flight that gets there that morning, and I'll be meeting at that same designation. Some of you might like to go in early and acclimate a little bit before you get there. I know the Pickrells are really interested in going on this trip, and they're going to piggyback some Scotland stuff at the end of Ireland to go do as well. So that gives you the freedom. I'm not locking you into a plane ticket that you have to purchase, you have to buy. Like, you're going to have freedom to do those kind of things. Now, that being said, you do need to be there when we leave. It's not to join the group later in the trip or this or that. For our liabilities and everything, you'll need to be there with the group and stay with the group overall for the trip, unless some kind of medical emergency arises or a home emergency arises, right? Competent. Most everybody was a competent traveler, and those that weren't is fine too. I don't want that to scare you. I'm not telling you that you have to be. I just need to know if you're not. First and foremost, you can stick to my hip the entire time. Okay? If I've traveled with people that love to figure out something they want to do, and they have the time to do it, and they do it. And I have others that are absolutely freaked out to walk anywhere and not know where they're going. I'm there for that. So I just wanted to know that there was people out there that were not as secure about their travel. I've already talked to a couple of people that never even been out of the country yet and taken an international trip, which is awesome. I would love to be the person that takes you on your first international trip. So that is not you have to be a competent international traveler to take it. I just want you to be very clear and upfront with me if you're not, so that I can make sure you're taken care of and feel really good while you're on the trip, right? And then committed. It was like about a 75% of you were like, if this happens, we're doing it, which is really good. This will be very similar. The Victoria trip is kind of that other kind of, it's a good break in to understand of like, there'll be a commitment, a deposit, and everything you need to get in. We cannot make these kind of plans to have people like choosing last minute to back out. It's not going to be like a normal event. You will have a day and a time that you must have your deposit in and lock yourself in. You don't have to go on the trip. Just know that you will be financially obligated for a portion of that trip. Not like the airfare. If you can get out of your own airfare, that's fine, but there'll be a portion that you'll have to commit to for the trip, your hotels and things like that will be on it. And then if it's already past that date, you've paid into that trip. Now, if you want to have somebody, your neighbor, be able to fit into that, they can pay you back. They won't be paying me, they pay you back for your portion, and then they could get their plane ticket. And that could happen too, but otherwise you're locked in. Yes, Lucy.
How far in advance are we gonna have it like locked down? The only reason I ask is because I'm gonna have 2 surgeries next year. And hopefully have the last one in May, which it'll be fine to walk, but I kind of have to like plan ahead of time.
I don't have an exact date yet because I haven't started to lock in some of the stuff because we need to get our group narrowed down to a few more, but I've still probably put in your head at least 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Because it's really hard for me to know the group size and try to make accommodations ahead of time to get us the best rates, the best size, the best place, and then have to try to change that and work with them after the fact. So there'll be a pretty big gap, but it's not going to be like January.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair? Yeah. I'll give plenty of notice as I can get it to you guys as we develop this trip more.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions about the survey results there? Cool. So, and did I kind of, how we're kind of molding this then based on that? Great. Now, understand every trip moving forward, we're not necessarily going to throw a survey out every single time. And I want people to know that if this isn't the trip for you because of certain things, then we will design other trips that will fall better into the categories that you felt you'd be more comfortable traveling. So this isn't a one and done style of how we travel. This is our first. And I wanted to get a majority buy-in on how we're gonna make this one go so that everybody's kind of in it to make it a successful opportunity, but things can be morphed and changed for future trips as well, right? All right. Okay, so this is kind of where we're gonna take this now. This is what we've been waiting on. Now that we have the survey results, and now that those of you who filled it out, and you may be in this room now or online and going, it's already not the trip for me. That's okay to do that. But if you are still on board and you're still moving, this is our next phase. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to break Ireland up into 4 parts. And I've roughly given you kind of some dividing lines into the quadrants, the southwest, southeast, the northwest, and the northeast. And then we'll talk a little bit about what I call the middle of Ireland as well. Today, what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about each of those quadrants. I'm going to talk about some of the things within each of those quadrants, some of the things that are popular that people may know of or not know of, but think it's really cool. And what will be happening after today's meeting is I will put out another, won't necessarily be a survey, but it'll be a vote. And you're going to tell me the 2 quadrants you're most interested in. It's going to be a majority rule. Now, if you're not interested in going on this trip, don't fill it out. Don't fill it out. I don't want quadrants that are skewing numbers that if you're not, and you don't have to be 100% right now, but if you're less than 50% in on this, then I wouldn't fill it out because you will start to dictate where we go. Even in a 14-day trip and as big as, does anybody know how, I know I've told a lot of you, but does anybody know how big Ireland is? If you took Washington State, you could take Ireland and plug it in and it would fit exactly half of the state. That's how big Ireland is. It's about half the size of the state of Washington. But I will tell you, if you give yourself 40 days to drive around half the state of Washington, give yourself adequate time to visit the really cool historic towns and the sites and all those things, you're not going to make it successfully. So for this initial trip, we're going to break it into 2 quadrants. It could be any 2, but we're going to focus on our destinations being within 2 of the 4 quadrants of Ireland. And that way we can make sure we have adequate time in those areas to really feel what those areas are like. Does that make sense? Everybody's on board with that online?
Yes.
So basically, like wherever we fly in on the capitalized, we're not gonna fly in on one side of the state, of the country.
Well, we're gonna fly into Dublin.
Okay.
Yeah. Several airports you can fly into internationally, but we're gonna fly into Dublin.
Okay.
It's just the biggest city. It's always gonna be the best flight prices. It's gonna be where we just start. But because we start there doesn't mean that's the quadrant that we're destined to be in. And we'll bring up Dublin here and later into the presentation, but yeah. Okay, so everybody's good about the quadrants? All right.
Yes.
Thank you. So this is where we're gonna kind of break it down into the to-do sample of what each region, and this is a sample. We don't have time today to go super into depth. I'm just gonna highlight some of the really cool things in these quadrants. And this is how we're gonna break it down. So this is the first thing. We're gonna go into each of these areas with some of the highlights in them. So Southeast Ireland, right, the lower quadrant there, and then Southwest above. So Southwest will include, oh, I'm sorry, not above, below in the bottom left. And then we're gonna go to Northeast, and that's gonna include Northern Ireland. So we're putting Northern Ireland in as a possibility for this tour. So when we say Ireland, I'm including Northern Ireland. So when we talk about the Northeast quadrant of Ireland, this is including Northern Ireland in that. And then Northwest Ireland, the other upper half of Ireland. It's basically it gets the hardest time because it says the British didn't find anything interesting in it, and that's why they cut it out of the part they took of and made Northern Ireland. but it's an amazing area in that well as well. So I don't know why it says quadrant two, ignore that, but Southeast Ireland. So some of the hot cities in the South Island, so this is a nice little cut of that grid. And cities to talk about in that area are Wicklow, Kilkenny, Wexford, and Waterford. So notice besides Kilkenny, we're heading along the coastline here. And then Kilkenny right up there, but Kilkenny is also on one of the big rivers. What's up, Chubbies?
I'm just thinking Kilkenny from my Outback Center.
Oh my God, the Kilkenny.
Sorry.
That is good. So when we're looking kind of into that area, the southeast and the northwest are famous more for their country, their views, their vistas, the coastal looks and the trails and the parks and things like that. So the cities are smaller, more quaint. They're not as big as some of the other ones around here. So when we're talking about wanting to visit those quadrants, we're looking more for that small hometown feel. We're looking for a lot of more outdoor things to go see and do while we're on that. So these are just some examples of those specific areas we're talking about. This is Wicklow. And it's one of the famous locks in Wicklow. And obviously Waterford Crystal. This is Kilkenny Castle. That's the Rock of Cashel in the upper right. This is also Wicklow. So this is an old immigration ship. It's been restored and it's a museum now to talk about how all the Irish fled Ireland in for the different reasons throughout the year and stuff. So that's one of the museums in Wicklow there. So these are just snapshots of visuals of things to see and do when you're in the southeast region of Ireland. Okay.
Okay.
Southwest. We're getting into bigger, so Cork falls into the southwest. Cork is the second largest city in Ireland, if you're not counting Northern Ireland. It's the second largest city. When I say that, Cork's about 250,000 people, and Dublin's 3 million, 2.6 million, I think, something like that. So there is a massive difference when we talk what a big city is. To go to the second largest city and know it drops down to smaller than Tacoma in population, right? Things to think of in this area, Cork, Killarney. You have got the Ring of Kerry is right in here. If you've ever heard of the Ring of Kerry, which is and I was wondering when the push-ups were gonna get here. Well, it's okay that you thought that. There's a chair up here, but we all agree that anybody that was late would do 20 push-ups before we continued the meeting. But there is really a chair for you right here. You don't need to sit on the step. Dingle is right here. How many of you have heard of Dingle before? It's a very famous port town. They have the Sleigh Head Drive around Dingle. We'll see some pictures in a second. It's a very also famous drive around there. And so you're getting into some larger cities. Killarney, really big, right behind Cork in size. And one of the major areas, the Kerry Airport is one of the other airports in that area and stuff. So we are getting into a much larger chunk in region. So when you start to think of those regions and the things you want to see and being able to spend significant time, you see why we're only picking 2 quadrant areas. There's a ton to do there. I personally, this is my destination Saturday morning. So we land, we get to the rental place, and this is where I'm driving from Dublin. I'm starting my trip in Killarney. We're going to spend 2 nights there, and then we're going to head all the way over here to Dingle. And then we'll start heading up the coast that way here. So I'll be currently I have not spent time, Cork, yes, I have not spent time down here. I've spent time all through here already, and we'll spend some more time in there.
How long will it take you to drive from Dublin to Killarney?
2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really cute. Like you like driving to Pullman is like driving across all of Ireland. You can go from one corner to the other. So like people are like, oh, it's long. It's like, yeah, but you can get across countries in that same distance, right? So those are, so when we say Cork I put little offsets. So Cove, so BH in the Irish tongue is a V sound. So it's not Caba or anything, it's Cove.
Yep.
Cove is very famous. There's some pictures we'll show here. And this is the last destination of the Titanic before it went out. Sunk capital on that. So there's a cute little Titanic museum there, nowhere near as cool as the one in Belfast, by the way, but they do have it beautiful. They have the very traditional seaside pink, yellow, blue homes all lined up. They have one of the most famous cathedrals in Cove, and it sits on the side. Middleton is not only a beautiful small town, it is also the home of Jameson and the Middleton Distillery. So if you're really into that, it's got an epic tour of the Middleton Distillery. So it's not just Jameson, it's Middleton and Powers, and they're all alluding, but it's a huge factory. Unlike where Guinness is made in a couple different places, Middleton produces 100% of the whiskeys that they do. So 100% of the world's Jameson. If you saw a bottle sitting on a dive bar on a shelf in Sumner, that was made in Middleton, Ireland. So it's kind of cool that they produce 100% there. Kinsale is another really small, beautiful town, beautiful castle outside of Kinsale. Blarney is right next to Cork. Blarney, it's a 7-minute drive outside of Cork to get to Blarney and Blarney Castle. Yes, I have kissed the stone every time I've been to Blarney Castle. So not just once, I've done it every time. It is, I have some pictures in here we'll show. It's a beautiful ground to visit. You don't have to kiss the stone, but it's the whole place that Blarney's on is wonderful. It's on, I don't know how many, 50 some acres. You can hike the whole area. There's Blarney Mansion, Blarney Castle. There's epic druidic ruins there and altars that they used to do druidic rites before the castle was even on site there and everything. It's a cool place to visit if you've never been. I will tell you, I've been enough now. I happily will take you to enjoy myself. I have no desire to go back. It's like going to the Space Needle 20 times, right? I don't need to go to the Space Needle anytime soon, but I'm telling you, if you've never been, it's awesome. Killarney we just talked about, Dingle we just talked about. So take a little peek at some of that stuff. So this is Cove. So this is their famous cathedral in Cove, and it sits up off and it banks down. You can see the roads going down, it banks down into the portside water. And this is the Muckross mansion or Muckross, and there's also the Muckross Abbey, but it's Muckross mansion. It's also on like 150 acre protected park. So there's hiking and lakes. You can take carriage rides around, so you don't have to walk it. There's a famous waterfall there. You can tour this mansion. It's fully equipped inside still with everything from the mansion, and that's in Killarney. This is part of the Slayhead Drive that you would leave from Mount Dingle. So the beautiful peninsula. That's the Gap of Dumlo going into the Ring of Kerry. This is Blarney Castle up here. Again, parts of the Ring of Kerry. This is the English Market, which is a famous market in Cork. It's exactly like the Pike Place Market without all the markup. Like the people of Cork do their shopping there, fresh fish vendors and butchers and shops that sell ingredients from all over the world and everything, and you can buy that. Plus food you can eat and everything in there. I got my hand slapped by a cheesecake maker there. I just wanted to take a picture of his cakes because I already make one, right? And he's like, no pictures of my cakes. And okay. I mean, I had a breakfast there of fresh baked bread and cheeses from the cheesemonger. We just grabbed that and walked to the streets and ate bread and cheese. So the English Market's really famous in that area. So this is looking more at that southwest region. These are just getting quick snapshots of things to see. This isn't even close to everything in those regions, but it's just things to like get you excited and show you what those regions have to offer. Then we're gonna head up to the northeast. So this is basically Northern Ireland. right? If we're, and you'll see why when I talk about what I call the middle of, Northeast Ireland is basically a huge chunk of Northern Ireland. Belfast, Omagh, Derry, Ballycastle, Antrim. Belfast is an hour and a half from Dublin. And it's a straight shot up into there. So Belfast itself, fabulous, beautiful, and unlike the other cities of Ireland, it is very British. The architecture is very British. It has its own individual feel. The university there is gorgeous. The botanical gardens, the Titanic Museum is there. And then I tend to like to take this drive out of Belfast and go all the way up the coastline here. Because up here are Giant's Causeway, Kerry Bridge, Dundas Castle. You have two of the top PGA courses in the world are up here. If you're a golfer, right? Bushmills distilleries up here around the Ballycastle area in Portrush area, stuff there. Several of the sites, if you're into or were ever into Game of Thrones, a lot of the filming locations were along this coastline here. The King's Road is also up in here too, the famous road with the trees growing over themselves. That's also right up between Ballymoney and Portrush. It's right up in there. Now, I don't know what it looks like right now because I heard they had a massive storm within the last year and like 5 of the trees got ripped out. So it may not be as cool as it used to be, but it's still there if you're familiar with it.
The peasants.
So this is the Titanic Museum in Belfast. It is cool. I automatically put Titanic on the
We
bottom of
missed
my
that.
list of exciting things because of the movie. I have never watched it and I never will.
Because.
Whatever.
I don't like that interpretation of a tragedy. So there you go. That being said, so I went into this going, great, Titanic Museum. Amazing. It is directly leads you through the history of Belfast, the shipping industry. It shows you what they went through to get to it. Then it has a very interactive, they actually have a little ride you get on. It's not scary, you ride, it takes you through this interactive thing of the ship being built. And so you see what they went through to get the ships built through the Titanic. And then it takes you into recreated rooms of the Titanic with actual what they look like. So what the first class people slept in and second and underneath. And all while you're going through it, it has actual like you meet the people who are on it. They have the photos of the people who are on that ship and little stories about them. And then you get to the tragedy portion of it. And then you get a cool underwater view room. It's a 360 room where you actually are on James Cameron's camera things and you can actually go down and see all the things on the bottom of the ocean floor when you're in it. It is awesome. It's an awesome museum. I've been 3 times. It's awesome. I haven't got bored with it at all. It's a really cool interactive experience while you're in Belfast. They also have a famous market called St. George's Market. Unlike the English market, it's only open certain days though. So I have actually only been to it one time because every other time I've been to Belfast, they've been closed. But it's a really cool market, almost more for their food. They have amazing food vendors inside St. George's Market. This is a snapshot of Derry, and these are the Derry Girls. If you've not watched Derry Girls, I highly recommend it. It is a comedy or what I would call a dramedy. It's surrounded by a lot of fun, but they really do tell a lot of the history of the times and what the people went through because of the Catholic and the Protestants and the separations between the English and the Irish, everything going on. And it has a very historical truth to the show while also making you laugh at the whole time. Netflix, by the way, for that. This is some of the Black Cab tours. So if you've heard of the Black Cab tours out of Belfast, they're historical tours. They're real cabbies, but they take you on a historical tour and again talk about those times. And they'll tour you around to a lot of the homes where some of the IRA people were and why they're famous. And there's huge murals painted, and they bring you to the different gates they used to lock people out of that are still functional in the city today, and the walls that were built to keep them separated that are still there, and things that have changed. Fabulous, fabulous tour. I was a little dismayed. I was there with a small group of friends, and there were so many of us. We didn't get a black cab. We got some like beat up old minivan that we all had to cram in, and this microphone. I was sitting up front. I could hear everything, and over the back, I hear it. So I didn't get the vibe of the black cab. I got the tour of the black cab without the black cab. This is Dunluce Castle. It's one of the oldest castles in all of Ireland that you can walk through and tour. While you're up in Ireland, this is up on the coast there. When you get up along the coastline there, the Giant's Causeway all the way to the castle is like 25 minutes of driving. Like you can do one and you drive and you can do the next one and you can drive and do the next one. So they're close enough to have fun on that. That is the Giant's Causeway up at the top. Geometric formations that were naturally caused. It's really neat. If you've ever been there, they do drop down under the water and they are there and they go all the way across and they come out in Scotland. And they have the same formations on the shores of Scotland. And I won't tell you the story. I'll tell you on the trip when we get there. There's an awesome folk tale about the Giants Causeway and the walking along on the causeway there. That's great. That's the Bushmills Distillery and the upper right up there as well. So yeah, just some of the fun things in Northern Ireland to take a peek at. All right, and then the Northwest. So again, this hits into Donegal. Has anybody watched Letterkenny, the comedy? So everybody confuses that with Letterkenny. It's not an Irish show at all. Letterkenny is not Irish. That just happens to be what the name of that is there. This is the real Letterkenny from Ireland. Don't watch that show like Dairy Girls. You're gonna be like, what did Todd have me watch? It's Canadian and not Irish at all. He hit parts of Donegal. So, and remember too, like for every major city, there's the county. So don't get them confused. This whole quadrant is Donegal County, but then Donegal is actually and there's the county of Dublin, and then Dublin's in it. And there's the county of Cork, and Cork's in it. And there's the county of Laois, and Portlaois is in it. So a lot of these have the county names are the same. We don't do that, right? We don't have King County, and then there's the city of King within King County. They do that in Ireland now. So I spent some really good time in here, including all that here in the small area in a tiny area of Donegal County called Lettermacca Ward or Letcher. If you're from the area, they just say Letcher. Oh, you're going to Letcher, are you? Those that know the Big Bed for Peace. So the Donegal area is where Breezy Kelly, the lady who started that whole initiative, lives. She just actually messaged me yesterday asking if I'm going to make it up to Donegal to see her when I go over. I'm going to try, but then she's like, let me know if not Belfast, I'll take a bus to Belfast. And I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. So I'll do my best to see her as well. In some areas of Sligo. So Letterkenny, Donegal, Ballyshannon, Enniskillen. So Enniskillen's great. It's right down in here. And it's technically an island. It's completely surrounded by the river. So the tiny little town of Enniskillen there is beautiful as well. I have stayed in Enniskillen. There's a famous hike. I cannot pronounce it off the top of my head in the Irish, but it's also called the Stairway to Heaven. Because there's like 3,000-4,000 steps you gotta climb up to get to the top.
3,000-4,000.
I did it. Amazing view, beautiful hike. But that's just outside of Enniskillen. Other things there's the Marble Arch Caves are just outside of Enniskillen, which are underground caves, stalactites, like we could walk through it. They used to run boats tours through that and stuff like that. Tallest mountain in Ireland, which is basically Bonny Lake. That's all they get in Ireland. It has a lot of rolly areas, but not a lot of high areas at all. I think it's 5,000 feet. I think it is, if I remember the actual distance of it. This is Sligo. This is the town of Sligo. This is part of the Marble Arch Caves. This is Donegal Castle. This is another set of famous Druidic caves in the area. This is traditional. I haven't been to that, but it's it's an old historic town. One of my great things I love still in Ireland is they still thatch roofs. Like still people live in homes with thatched roofs, and it's really neat to see. They're everywhere. It's not like you have to go to one area of Ireland. There's lots of areas of Ireland where you can still see thatched roofs. There's still famous pubs you can go to with thatched roofs and stuff on it. So you see those in the areas. And these are the Sleeve cliffs, Sleevey cliffs. So they're actually higher than the Cliffs of Moher. And so a lot of people say like, yeah, the Cliffs of Moher are the most famous, but if you're ever up in the Donegal area, the Sleeve Cliffs are even more beautiful, people say. So, did somebody ask a question online? Okay, cool. So, what I want to point out and kind of to your Dublin question is what I call the middle of Ireland. These are things that can just be kind of thrown in on, like, to not be ignored, but can be put onto any quadrant because they're kind of right in the middle. They don't necessarily fall into one or the other by eliminating one. So if I put one in one and you're like, well, I didn't want to go to quadrant, but I don't want to miss going to Galway. Like we can still do Galway. Like if you guys picked the Southwest quadrant and we did the Cliffs of Moher, Galway's right there. Cliffs of Moher are like 45 minutes away from Galway, so we can continue up that line and do something like Galway and visit Galway, places like Dublin. So Wicklow was kind of in that bottom half of that thing there. So when we're talking about middle, we're hitting that in there in some of those spots. So there is things, Dublin, Wicklow on the top end, Galway, Tullamore, again, just opened their brand new Tullamore distillery. Say they are not saying this is a whiskey tour, but those options of things you're looking for and things you might want to do. If you don't even try whiskey while you're in Ireland, though. I don't know you. So yeah, so these are
Did he say
their
don't try whiskey? What?
what? Oh, hi, George. So what I threw in there, and sorry, I didn't necessarily put. Oh, I did. There we go. Flip some more.
We saw that distillery.
Anybody know what that is? This is Galway. This is Galway.
Oh, yeah.
So here's my thing. I don't dislike. I actually like Galway. I don't get the appeal of staying at Galway for extended periods of time. I think you can. Yes, it has fabulous nightlife music, as any town in Ireland does. But Galway's heart and soul is this shopping district that you can spend like 3 hours in and like just soak it all in and love it. And then you're like, what's next? Like, well, you did it all.
This is Dublin.
So we can go there and we can do those kind of things. That's why I say like some of this stuff we can throw right in. This is also part of Galway. Here, distillery. This is, I believe, Tullamore's distillery line there. Anybody know this? Trinity College in Dublin. Famous college in Dublin. That's Dublin up there. It's one of the bridges in Dublin, and Dublin kind of into the evening and sunset. And I'm Kylemore Abbey is the picture up there. Just outside Galway area there. So kind of what I threw in there too, just so you know, I knew what I was doing. So these are just some shots I took. So this is what I'm getting excited about. This is just one side street in Dublin for the Christmas time area. Completely different. These are shots. These are from my trips now. Not the others were just swag, just to show you some of the things, some of the fun things. Yes, it's Ireland. Yes, it could rain at any time. Yes, you should be prepared. This is Cork, that's Blackrock Castle. Ashland we picked a destination we were going to and we put it in the map. And then she would grab my phone and she would find cool things on the way and she would just add them into the map and we would just stop. And she'd find these old ruins and old castles and old abbeys and things along our trip. And did that along the way. This is the Trinity Library.
Yes.
Mind
Hell's
blowing.
The hell's it?
Mind blowing. Trinity Library. Anybody know what these
Yeah.
are?
Ruins from somewhere.
So these are, I'll probably jack up the pronunciation, but Oma stones or Oma stones. So these lines in the stones, they actually feel predate Sanskrit as the oldest written language ever, and it was a Druidic language. These stones are just sitting for open view at Cork University. They're not locked up. You don't pay a ticket. They're just right there for you to walk up and enjoy while you're there. So a little bit of piece of history. I took Ashlyn to Cork University and she immediately wanted to go to Cork University. And then we got to Dublin and she did Trinity and she was like trying to figure out how she was going to go to Trinity. And then I took her to Glasgow University and at Scotland. She wanted to go to Glasgow University. I mean, I get it. I did too. For others, you're talking about food and you're wondering like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to eat pub food and all that. So this is a Michelin restaurant I ate at in Dingle and it was top tier. It was wonderful, right? This is an Irish breakfast. Everybody makes their slight twist to the Irish breakfast. So this is Irish bacon,
This is breakfast.
also known as a rasher. So it's not bacon. They call it that. It's not bacon. If you think you're getting a piece of bacon, shock and awe. It's actually a little bit more like ham. They don't cook it crispy. They cook it like you just brown off a piece of ham before you fed it. That's black pudding. Hidden around the corner is probably the white pudding. Beans. A lot of times there'll be mushrooms and eggs. It's everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. Irish people eat full Irish all the time, all the time. They eat this at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when they woke up from a hangover. They eat an Irish breakfast all the time. I was lucky enough to attend an Irish wedding. Don't get excited. They're not that much crazier than an American wedding. They just sing better.
This looked like the university.
This is Cork University. They were doing graduation ceremonies while we were there. So beautiful. Like anything, they continue to thrive on the original architecture, but there's a couple, Cork has some award-winning architectural design buildings on site as well. So you're walking and you see this, hundreds of year old, and then you walk and see this architectural crazy thing that they built that they have classes in too. So it's a nice mix of the old and new. There's Dingle. This is Limerick. This is the castle in Limerick, sitting up on top of the ramparts, looking at the river. This is the same castle. So where we're taking the picture of up on top of one of those, it's out over that castle there. This is Dublin. This is one of the beautiful parks in Dublin that we went and walked through.
Say no more.
You know where that is? So you'll know I'm being true about my earlier statement, but this is in Galway. So I had Irish friends, my really good friend Fionn and his parents, they took us in at night. They were staying about 35, 40 minutes out in the countryside. They owned a place out there. We drove into Galway and we're walking through it. And I obviously lost my mind. They didn't know that was there. They didn't know it was there called that. And I lost my mind. And we got to go in. And we go in and they don't card you in Ireland. One, because kids can drink at like 15. So they don't. But I'm like, and he's like, your man's like, what? And I'm like, look. And he's like, what? And I'm like, look. And he's like, he's so irritated at me. He's like, oh, and I'm like, I know. So he's like, do you guys sell any like swag? Can I get a shirt from your pub? He's like, no, we don't have that. I'm like, oh, all right. So we ordered a pint and we were just sitting there talking. There was some live music. He comes up to me a little bit later and he's like, here. He went to the employee area and found it one of their actual work shirts. And he gave it to me. And I have it. It's in my closet right now. And so I wear it so I can pour beer when I get there. I don't know. Yeah. I've never not visited this. This was Ashton's very first trip to Ireland with me, and I have one from just in January when we were there again, and
That's very cool.
pictures. It's really cool, right? And this is also the Dáil, by the way. I'm Todd Dale, but this is Dáil. It's pronounced Dáil. And Dáil is a House of Parliament. And Todd is an attorney. So you would hire a Todd and you might meet them at the Dáil. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I learned that from my Irish friends. I knew nothing about it. Oh, you're having a go at me. I'm like, no, I'm not. Everybody know what this is? Cricket, right? Wrong. This is Ireland's national sport. This is hurling. Not to be mistaken with hurling. It's hurling with an H. So usually when you get, it's their Gaelic Sport Association. Most of the time, if you go to a Gaelic match, you get a hurling and a Gaelic football match in the same ticket. You get them both. They play both games, and Gaelic football is a lot like rugby. So they're two different sports played on the exact same pitch with the exact same goals, but two different sports. It's actually pretty cool. So I got inducted into this when we went over our very first time. It was for a christening, and after the christening, it was just a big party. But we had to stop the party because Cork was playing Clare for the All Ireland final in hurling, and I'm like, I don't even know what it is, but we went and bought jerseys for Cork. I still have that too, so I could sit there with the locals and watch, and it's amazing. It's an awesome game. It is so cool. It's like lacrosse and baseball met and gave you the best of both things. Yeah, it's really cool. Unlike lacrosse, though, you see most they have the helmet on their face. They don't wear any pads, so there's a lot of rough and stuff there. But now's our Q&A time. What do you have for me? Yes, Kathy.
So what's the weather like in the fall?
It's exactly like what the weather is like here. Meaning it'll be similar temperatures, but it could be sunny here and rainy there and vice versa. They're in the fall. So if you look on a map, they're longitude, latitude, whichever. They're basically on the same ring we are. So they have very, very similar weather to us. Unlike our winter, so they have a warm current stream that goes off the island on the west side of the island. So they don't tend to get snowfall like we would get. But other than that, temperatures and rain are very similar.
If we're gonna pick two quadrant, does it make sense to do kitty corner, or is that adding too much time?
Nope. The island, like I said, getting around it, we want time, but getting whatever direction, if we drive diagonal or up or down, doesn't matter. You pick the quadrants that absolutely make sense to your brain.
What's your vision on like getting around? I know we can do trains, but like what if we're in the outer areas? Are we driving a car?
Hitchhiking.
My hitchhike.
It's not dangerous there. I am envisioning and working on a tour bus.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the difference will be, 1 second, Kathy. So like whether we take a tour bus the whole time or whether we leave Dublin on a train and get somewhere first, and then we use that tour system to get us to the next spot and so on. That will all be ironed out. But yes, the idea of having a charter bus at our disposal.
When you say fall, are you talking October, November?
Late September, early October. Yes.
For you, is the hopes that whatever two quadrants you don't do in the fall, you do next fall or the next fall?
So here's the deal, to not beat a dead horse. To go do the next two quadrants is definitely an option, but I don't want to think that our trips are only Ireland. So I know a lot of people, can we do Ireland and Scotland? Well, we could, but you're only going to get a tiny taste of Ireland and a tiny taste of Scotland. So like I foresee with the smoothness of stuff flowing that we can do 1 to 2 trips a year spaced out, but we can visit anywhere. So yes, a chance to go back, but I probably wouldn't make the very next trip going right back to Ireland. We'd go whatever the next thing. You guys told me Ireland. I talk about it enough, and every one of you is like, take us Ireland, take us Ireland, take us Ireland, take us Ireland. So that's why we're doing Ireland first, and I have no problem with that. But but we definitely can visit other players and we definitely can get back and do the other quadrants. And it's also an opportunity once you're there, and if you haven't been and you feel a little more comfortable, you also can plan a trip and go back. Yeah.
Todd, this is Doug Miller.
Hi, Doug.
Online. Yeah, I understand that you want us to pick 2 of the 4 quadrants. Is there a timing on that? Because I know, as we tick, 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 we get closer to 26.
Oh, I'm gonna reach out and have like a little quadrant survey or checkbox on an internet thing like we did with the survey I can send out, and you guys can just do it and I'll get that feedback, and I'll probably date it till the end of the year. So that
Okay,
you guys can
sounds
have
good.
some time. There's people that couldn't make this. I'm recording it. We'll get it posted. I want you to not just go off a picture you saw. I want you to think about it now and go look up stuff. Do your own homework and figure out what really makes sense. And understand you could do all the homework and your 2 quadrants might not be the 2 voted for. Hopefully it doesn't mean you don't want to go, but it is still going to be majority rules for those quadrant picks.
Okay.
Thanks, Todd. Just wanted to get next steps. Also,
Absolutely. I
there's
appreciate
a lot
it.
of good things in each one of those quadrants.
There
if you
sure
don't think
is.
you're selected, there's plenty of other wonderful things.
Yeah. And fun fact, I want your input.
Yeah.
But there's no bad quadrant.
Yeah.
There's amazing stuff in every one of them.
I was gonna ask, is there any like part of Ireland that is like anti-American that we have to be careful of, or we should, if we go, then we just have to be aware of,
Question, is there unsafe place for Americans? No. But if you ever felt like it, wear a Canadian shirt. If they ask you where you're from, Canada. I'm gonna check. But no, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. Now, don't get me wrong, in Northern Ireland, there is still tensions between Protestants and Catholics that have run for generations through family lines. That doesn't interfere with us. Like, it's not a thing that unless you are speaking your religious preferences out loud for whatever reason you chose to in front of the wrong people, I suppose you can take some people off. I don't think that was what we should be doing on our vacation journey, but it is a good question, but I would tell you go 99.9% safe.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Thank you.
With a group this size, could we still do the black caps or could it be?
Yes. Yes, no, you can. So the black cab itself, they do like larger buses, but we can also schedule multiple cabs. Most of the cabs can take 4 to 6 people. They have some with like bench seating style in them. And so if we needed to schedule 5 for pickup and they would pick up, we would just all have a different tour guide based on what we're there. Yes, sir.
What kind of range does a trip like this cost for an individual?
That's a question I don't know that I want to accurately answer for you yet.
Just a range, an inaccurate answer? Or-
Not including our.
Not including airfare. I believe we can do this for less than $3,000 per person.
And how much did you have to pay for airfare for you and your kids? Because they'll be around the same.
It won't be the same. That's a great thing. It won't be. I go in winter. I will always get the best rates. So what I pay and what you pay for a ticket are not going to be the same. I would guess even in an early bird, you're looking at 700 would be safe for what I think most of you are going to put up with.
Okay.
Like me, I don't get to pick my seat on Friday. I may not be sitting with my boys. I'm carry on only, all those extra things that you're not going to deal with. So paying a little bit more to get that, you're probably going to be $700-800.
Per person in the main cabin.
Yeah. Also, unlike when I do this for single and double occupancy, a room rate's the room rate. The room is what it is, so people pay just for the room. So your single may look more, but it's only because you're paying the same room rate as somebody else. Yeah, I'm not going to make anybody pay more for the trip because they're single, but a room's a room. If I can get a single person room, single, smaller bed, whatever, and get a better rate, I will. But if it's room and 2 people in it, well, by person, they'll pay less for that room than a single occupancy room, just so you understand. There's no extra I'm adding on to that. Yes,
What does the $3,000 include?
hotel, transportation, chaperone. I will do my best to find nice accommodations that might provide breakfast. But some of you may, I mean, if that's like your shtick is to get out and always just go down to your hotel lobby, I myself look for places to go have breakfast. Cause you'll get the same options. You'll get a full Irish, you'll get porridge, it'll be the same no matter how nice the place is, or they'll give you a buffet. More likely a traditional continental buffet as well.
How do you usually do the dinner? Is that everybody out on their own?
I will probably schedule one or so with a group the size we're looking. I'm not going to guarantee I can get us all into one location. I want one or so where we meet, but I want you guys to enjoy and have good food. I don't want to go to places that'll serve 30 and serve us mediocre food that you're also paying for. Make sense? Yeah. Yes, Kathy.
So I go a little ahead of the game. So we'll all book our own flights. I get that, I think. And we're gonna fly into Dublin, which my understanding is you can do a one stop, what goes nonstop into Dublin.
One airline does nonstop. That's Aer Lingus. Aer Lingus, which is an Irish-based company
Out of CTEC?
out of Seattle.
Oh,
They are a partner with Alaska.
They are partnered with Alaska, so if you have Alaska miles, they give you great rates on your miles.
Why, with the fight, did you?
Direct is just 9 hours and 15 minutes, I think. But just so you know, a lot of the connection flights I've taken really are like 12, maybe 12 and a half. They're not bad either. I mean, I've gone through Toronto, Reykjavik, London, Philly, New York, Chicago. And they're all, unless you find some weird long layover, they're all relatively 12-ish hour flights with a quick down and up. So they're not horrible either.
could just stretch your legs too.
I do stretch classes on long flights, so if you fly with me, so. We'll meet back in the galley. No, not until Kurt pays us. No one has one until Kurt gets his stuff. What else? So the goal though is off of this is we'll start to narrow down and I'll advertise the route. At that time, I'm gonna ask for at least your 100% verbal commitment that you're in, not necessarily financial. And I would like to meet with you, discuss quadrants, and I want the people who are in to give me some feedback. Like, what are the top 3 things you really hope you'd be able to see? No, I can't guarantee 30 people can get the 3 things they want to see, but what I can probably guarantee is that you'll check off at least one of those things that were like on your like hot list. Maybe all 3. If all of you have 70% the same answer, then the likelihood that we can get more of those is there. Things to think about that I said I would come back to. Unless it's a travel day where we're leaving one location to go to the other, there will be itinerary stuff planned to do with me. But I also want you to know you can do what you want. So if a large percentage, say, wants to do the Guinness Storehouse in Dublin and go on the Guinness tour, but there's a chunk of you that have no idea to do that, well, great, I'll book for the ones that want to, and then the others, you guys can go take a different, exploration around Dublin that you'd like. So, and I can give ideas, that's fine too, but I will have to take the larger group to what they need to do on that. But I want you to feel like, so again, if it's one of those things where, yeah, you signed up for the 5 miles, but maybe after 4 days you're tired. And so you would rather stick around close and not go do a bunch of walking stuff, do it. That's okay. Yeah. The only one I need you fully accountable for is when we're moving from one town to the next town, because we all got to be there for that. Otherwise, if you'd like some freedom in your trip, have some freedom in your trip. And I know that freaks, if you're used to taking a lot of tours, it freaks some people out. And you like literally don't know what to do with your day unless you have an itinerary. I will have that. I will have some things for us to do throughout the day, including some free time and point out some areas to do, but a little bit of both. Yes, Kathy.
Do you know when you'll have the dates pinned down? Cause I already have something in October and I just wanna see.
I don't foresee the dates being pinned down for at least 60 days.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah, I will get them. Like, we have stuff coming. You know, we have a
Yeah.
clubhouse being built. I can't be gone. But that coming anywhere near grand opening, she could actually. If I knew there was anybody here that could take care of business and I wasn't here, it would be her. But I also wouldn't do that to her.
But if we get enough of you all going,
Might need 2 people.
Yeah.
Well, just how many people are watching online?
Oh, there's 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that.
Probably more people that wanna go than.
And then some couldn't do this at this time and we can record. But yeah, I want there to be some freedom. I want there to be some input. So once we get it narrowed down more and more, we'll have smaller meetings of the people traveling where we're getting more in depth about what we're doing, how we're gonna do it, and giving some feedback. What this does is it doesn't dictate how we'll do every trip. It gives me a foundation of what this group really is kind of looking for doing, and it's easier for me to plan stuff moving forward. Your input just feeds to me what you're used to and what you like and you know, what's challenging and what's not, and we can make this trip
Are you
better.
thinking moving hotels every night?
Absolutely not.
2 or 3 days?
I will guarantee you, bar none, we will stay no less than 2 nights wherever we go. You cannot experience anything without spending some time there.
Yeah.
If I want you to walk away with anything, it's some kind of a cultural hug you take away with you for Ireland. I love everything I showed you and everything I've seen, but I love Ireland because of how it makes me feel when I'm there, not the things I go see. So I don't think you can do that being shoved on a bus every day and you know, being just driven to that and barely not getting to unpack your bag for a second. So there might be some places we stay 3 nights, you know, depending on the quadrants we pick. Let's say like we do a Dublin, we do a Belfast, we do a Cork, these kind of cities. They have, it's a great central hub. So we could be there 3 nights, but knowing that we could spend a day where we go to Cove and Middleton, we could spend a day where we go up the coastline. We'll be gone all day for that. So to have a nice hub where we're unpacked and we feel good about it and can come back to, we'll do those kind of things and feel like we really left those areas feeling a little bit of that area, not being rushed in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
No, not at all. Not at all. If we end up, so just remember that. I am only me, and though I can carry 1,500 pounds of canned food, I only have 2 hands to do so. So as much as I want to help you with your bags, I can't be the person of. So if we do have a thing where we need to get a walk to the train or something on that, what you pack is what you bring. And I respect that. You do you, and I'll help who I can. But if half of you do giant bags and all that, you're gonna be relying on Bob to carry those as much as Todd. I'd say Kurt, but I don't know if he's strong enough until he does his push-ups. Yeah, until he gets those push-ups.
Bags rollable?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
so it's not like rough terrain or cobblestone.
Is it all?
Be, there is some cobblestones in places, depending on where we go. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you have some very old towns that are, you know, built that way, but I don't want to tell you how to be comfortable on the trip.
Yeah.
But I would say if you're that person that brings 2 giant suitcases, this might not be the trip for you. Serious. Because it's not that it won't get anything. We take a train, the train has places for you to put luggage. We have a shuttle bus, they have places for you to put that luggage, but it's all those times in between of you trying to get that stuff where you need it to, that will be a little more difficult. It will limit things like airport shuttles, you know, and things like that when we're in their area. Most of the hotels do, like when you get into the bed and breakfast and stuff, yeah, you might be chugging up like 2 flights of stairs that are built like this from back in the day, and you're getting 2 kinds of workout. But I'd carry your bag up with that. It might just be one at a time until I get all your bags up, but I would do that. I would do that for you. Yeah. What else? These are really good questions, guys, and these are just kind of like paving the way for it. I love the general excitement and interest in it. Anything online? Any more questions online?
Do you think you'll have time to send out the email/survey about the quadrants before you head out on vacation?
I'm gonna have Jackie, I'll send an email out tonight or in the morning to have Jackie make that.
Like do a little, slideshow here, would that be available for us to kind of look at too? I was trying to jot down things.
Do you remember that part where you didn't pay earlier? So Kathy, if you pay for it, it is there for payment if you'd like. Yeah, I can probably get you the slideshow out.
Or you're also gonna post this video. If you,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, this is being recorded.
so you can look at the voice.
But if you don't want to have to go through the whole hour-long talk, I can get you the PowerPoint too, so you can just flip through slides.
In your mind, when do you think you'd like to release the sign date? Like, just like the month or something?
January, February. There's a lot of planning to do until we know the size of the group and everything. This, again, here's your benefit. So why I can't tell you the exact, you guys are used to taking tours and paying for all of that. You don't have to pay as much because you have me taking the brunt of this, but it does take some more planning on my side. So it's kind of why, like when you do those things and they line you up and they're like, you're going to get 5 dinners and 7 breakfasts and stuff on your trip, but they've lined those all up with places that are used to feeding those people the same meals. And it's touristy Irish meals, not real Irish food. So it's going to take, and I need to know early so I can start contacting the right hotels, because there's a big difference between needing 15 rooms or 22 rooms, depending on the size of the group, right? So I will need to get that information and the size of bus we need. Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Is there a limit to the size of the group? So max size of the group will be 30. To go, it needs to be 20. So I know in a perfect world, I take 10 of you and we'd have the time of our lives, but I can't do that either. So I'll take 20 of you or 30. We'll have a great time. If we get toward closer to that 30 end, Leslie will accompany us. Yes, Stephanie.
Currency, what is the value of the dollar? You're in Ireland. No.
And let's see here. The question was, what was the value? Oh, those aren't my glasses.
You want to borrow mine?
What? Yeah, no, I see it now. Thank you. Currency. So let's see. Euro and US dollar. €1 is $1.16 US. Now, that being said, remember this.
Yeah, they
If
can
we go to
change.
Northern Ireland, it's the pound and not the dollar, and it's probably even more US. The pound is usually not a better exchange. Let's see here. Pound. British pound is $1.33. So 1 British pound is $1.33. Currently.
Yeah.
We're talking 9 months before we're leaving, the currency completely changing it, but that's what it is currently.
Would we want to do travelers checks or convert it here in the US and then bring it with us?
So what I do is I strictly use my credit card. You'll always get the best rates using your credit card. They like that. They tap. They're ahead of us, by the way. First time I went to Ireland, I couldn't use my credit cards because they had no microchip. They made me go to debit machines and pull out cash. They would not process my card. So then when I got back embarrassed, I called the bank and got myself a microchip card. And within a year, I go over there and they don't want my microchip because they tap on everything. So don't be surprised we get there and we're ready to tap and they've got something where there's barcodes in their foreheads and these laser. I don't know, but they're ahead of us. I would always bring a small amount of cash, because you can always get cash there. It's not that big a deal to go to a cash machine. They don't pillage you for taking money out over there on a cash machine. So like if you didn't know about Ireland, Ireland has US customs in the Dublin airport. So when you leave Ireland, you go through customs there and you don't have to touch it again. When you land back here, you just leave and go home. It's super, super nice. They're very friendly to the US over here concerning that. So last time I told people they needed no cash, It was right after COVID and it bit me in the butt, cause people needed some cash and I was like, you know, I mean, little amounts. Like it was stuff like the shuttle that went from the top of the causeway down to the bottom wasn't part of the museum. You had to pay the shuttle driver and it was literally like a pound. But they couldn't take a card or anything. So you had to hand them a pound or else they wouldn't take you down. I don't take the shuttle, but those of you who don't want to walk it, there's a little tram that lets you down.
Gyros, except for.
Yes.
Euros and pounds, yeah.
I don't know if it's still listed, but a lot of places don't like American Express because it costs them like 3% to process it, so.
They weren't denying anybody. I've been with people that American Express. They weren't denying anybody that. They weren't denying anybody. So that's a great question. They asked about tipping. Ireland is actually a non-tipping culture. They pay fair wage across the board for all their jobs. Like if you're a bartender in Ireland, you own a flat and you drive a car and they make great money. Because of COVID, COVID and coffee, they started like, you see tip options there. They're just trying to sucker Americans into like just giving away money because you're really used to it. You don't need to tip. Where I would tip, if you had a tour guide, if we went on like one of those hop on hop offs and they had a live tour guide, I always tip them. They're so knowledgeable and everything. You take a cab somewhere, I might throw the cabbie a little bit, that kind of tipping. But you don't tip at restaurants. You don't tip at places here, and no, you don't need to tip for a coffee, even though they'll try. They were trained. The coffee scene wasn't big when I first started. You couldn't get a mocha or a latte or anything over there anywhere. Now they're everywhere. They even have drive-up coffee stands, but they were trained by American baristas. They paid like 18 to 21-year-old girls to live over in Ireland for 3 months and train all their employees on how to make coffees. And so they're like, you need to put a tip cup out. And so you'll see it, but it's a non-tip. That goes for Northern Ireland as well. Your bank. I would just go to your bank early if you want a little bit of cash with you. Again, I have no time. I don't do that. If I need cash, I'll just get it out of the machine when I'm in Ireland. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they might charge me like a pound or two or a euro or two, but it's not that big a deal. And they're everywhere. Your debit card will work in any ATM machine over there, just like it works over here. And it's in English, in case you didn't know. Yes, Kathy.
So like, I bring $50, I land in Dublin, I go to some machine, I put in my $50 and then it gives me back euros.
Well, they actually have those exchange counters if you want to go do that.
Oh.
They actually have that person that'll swap your money for you right there.
Oh.
Yeah. They're gonna take a piece of that pie though.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you literally go to whatever your bank is here, credit union, just tell them you'd like some euros. Most of the time they don't carry them out hand anymore. They just have to order it. You only need to give them like a week. Some will just get it in the next day. You just say, can I please, I need 100 euro. I need 500 euro, whatever you feel like getting. And they're like, great, come back tomorrow, come back Tuesday. We'll have your euro for you. And then they'll do the exchange rate right out of your account and then hand you the euro so you can take it with you. Yeah. Yes, Captain.
You said that the customs is in Ireland. Did your global entry or Nexus Pass then work there, like it would when you land here in the States?
I'd have to look that one up because I don't roll bougie like that, Kathy. Anything else? Anything else online? There will be more. Like I said, this is the next step of excitement. Also the reality that maybe we're doing things that weren't your cup of tea, and so this isn't the trip for you. And I understand that. That's okay too. It will narrow itself down a little bit. But like I said, I'll send out. It'll literally just be vote on the call. I'm not going to put all. It'll be southwest, southeast, northeast, northwest. It'll be one thing. Answer it. Submit it to me, and that's how we'll rock and roll from that. And then assume you don't need to worry about it. Once we have that and we meet again and we get into the final planning, we'll talk about adding Middle Ireland stuff. doing Dublin stuff or Galway stuff to not necessarily miss those things if the group's interested in it, okay? So there won't be a vote for that because those could be added to any quadrant you vote on. Yeah?
Sounds good.
You guys excited?
Yes. Yes.
I'll do tons of research for you. I will make sure the whiskey's okay. You know, it was a sad day when they only let you take one bottle back now. Yeah, customs only wants you to take one bottle through. And I was like, but I have 3. And if you don't do it again, I'm one of these times I'm gonna slap my hand, so. But just so you know, if you think I'm a lush, I'm not. I will show you every single one of the bottles I brought back from Ireland. It's never been opened. They're sitting on this beautiful rack. I have like distillery only bottles and all this stuff, and they've never been opened. Totally full.
Are you saving them for something like when you retire?
Well, I don't drink alone. Lori doesn't drink whiskey. So until I have a friend that's over that enjoys, I won't crack a
We'll be
bottle.
right over, right?
We're all
Sucks.
coming
I made
over.
bestest friends in one statement. That was awesome. Oh, guys are wonderful. Yeah. So just real quick, because I have a large audience right now. Leslie's on site while I'm gone. She'll be hosting. Did you pop them up already? She's hosting. The app launches on Monday. So she's doing every day an hour or 2.
Starting Tuesday.
On Tuesday. That's what Monday's her day off.
Saturday. Well, yeah, flexing, but.
So you can go, she'll be set up at the tour center and you can come in if you want help using the new app and seeing how it works and everything. She'll be available for that as well. She's also doing the candlelight solstice walk as well while I'm gone. So she will be available.
I would like to call that a stroll. There's a difference between a Leslie stroll and a Todd walk. Moving forward, you will all learn this. We're not going for miles.
It's a lap around the block.
It's a
But she said she'll wear the tree, so that's pretty cool.
Look up her in the tree.
Yeah, so again, congratulations, Leslie. It's her first day, so she's available for everything. She has her new email address, which is just like mine. So it's leslie.westfall@verterraclub.com. So it's her name at verterraclub.com, just like mine is my name. And there is a dot. They like to put the dots between our first and last name, so.
And my last name is Westfall. It's West and then PHAL. So it's fancy. We like to have interesting spelling last names between the two of us.
Could they added it to the directory?
I believe it is on the directory. I believe so, yes. And it may or may not have a picture yet. I tried today and I'm.
Okay, you guys are amazing, and to everybody that joined online, I'm very excited as well. I don't expect all the questions to have been there right now, and you're gonna think of something the second that door closes tomorrow in a week. Email me, text me, you know the routine. Doesn't bother me. I actually get excited when you're excited. I don't care if I'm in Ireland. If I get a text and it says, "Oh my God," so I have to go. Great. You're not gonna bug me. I think it's outstanding that you're interested in that. Because remember, I don't have to answer you. But I did just change. If you're a Verizon person, they just put out a new plan called the Ultimate. It's 2 U's, Ultimate something, and you get your international now.
Oh, you do?
It's part of the plan.
Oh, I'm gonna send yours today.
So I have full international. I get phones, texts, emails while I'm over there. I don't have to pay now. So this one trip will pay what I would have paid had I had to pay for international while I was there. I got my orange phone, which is my orange case. No big deal. Cool. It's Irish orange. So thank you. So again, if I see you tomorrow for the History Museum, great. I won't be on site tomorrow. This is the last time you see this face until I get back. And I will be back on the 26th. So I'm working tomorrow, so don't feel bad if you have a question tomorrow. If you're like, well, I didn't want to bug because I do work tomorrow and I work Thursday. She's on my calendar. It's all day of conference calls, so I will be taking those from home so that you don't feel bad and I actually listen to the conference call because I'll turn the camera off and talk to you guys and then I get in trouble because they call on me and I'm not there. So yeah, I'll take those from home. Cool.
Todd, enjoy your trip.
Say that again.
On your trip with your boys in Ireland.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Doug. You guys have a great night. Thanks for hopping on.
Bye, Todd.
Bye.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Holidays, have a wonderful trip.
Thank you.
It'll be amazing.
Recording. Stop recording. Toodles, everybody.